Hello, everyone. This is JD Calderon, and this is Indy Comics Explained. Yet again, I brought another fantastic group of independent comic book publishers. So please hit like, hit subscribe, share out the video, let everybody know we're here. And just remember, the Oswald Chronicles currently on Kickstarter, so go check it out when you get a chance. The link is in the show notes. And without further ado, I'm going to bring on this guy. Why I keep bringing him on, I don't know, but he's here.
Love, exciting and new.
Okay. You know what? Fuck this. Anyway,
what's up, brother? How we doing tonight, kid? It's either that or welcome to Movie Phone. You know what I'm feeling? I'm feeling cheeky. I'm feeling cheeky tonight. So you got a campaign going. I got a campaign going. A few other people coming on tonight have a campaign going, right? And what's the show about but bringing indie comic book publishers to the masses, right? Showing out the people who are putting their money where their mouth is, believing in themselves, and putting out kick-ass products. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, so let's bring them on, brother. Come on.
So we got the Coco host. What's up, Mr. Lanning?
Cocoa host. I feel like I should be made of chocolate. You call me Cocoa host.
That's the only reason I came up with, because I like chocolate. Go ahead, Coco.
You like chocolate? Well, there you go. I like chocolate too. So I shouldn't have chocolate, but I like chocolate. Anyway, Michael Lanning, independent artist, done work for Hutchison Productions, Arrow Comics. This guy up here, my left. You're right. I don't know how you put that.
It's going to change real quick. So
yeah. And also host Art Style Kamikaze on the Independent Comics Network. And yeah, so.
All right, cool. What's up, Mike?
Oh, it's me. I'm not going to sing. I'm not there yet. I didn't get drinking, so I'm not singing like the boy there.
I'm sure your pitch would have been better than his. So
let him try. You can try. Well, you gotta hate, bro. Don't hate. You know what I'm saying? You can't do this. You don't have the velveteen that I got in between these pipes, bro. Come on.
I don't even want to know what's been in between those pipes. But anyway, Mike, please introduce yourself.
Wow. Fighting words.
Those are not fighting words. That's a typical like Saturday night for Jay. But go ahead.
Listen, bro. Sometimes you gotta pay that college tuition any way you can. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. He got artists to feed. He has money. He needs to make some cash. Anyway, so Mike, please introduce yourself before it gets worse.
Mike Marshall, owner, writer, and editor for War Dance Comics. I've not been at this nearly as long as the rest of these guys, but trying my best.
Cool, man.
No, man.
Just a guy doing his best, man.
Listen, man,
you're doing it, brother. Come on.
Yep. How you doing, Snoots?
Hi.
Please
doing okay.
Yourself.
So, Snoots VonSnips. I've been a freelance artist for a hot minute. I joined up with Mike, to start up War Dance Comics. I guess you could say I'm co-founder, lead artist, and soundboard for Mike. So that's my life.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
And we have, what's up, Mr. Carlos?
It's great to be here and not be on my phone in between clients trying to get my 2 cents worth. So you get 3 cents worth tonight.
Right. All right. Sounds good.
But I am Carlos Rafael, publisher, writer of Champion Comics, Remarkables. And these are the ones that came out with AP of Antarctic Press. They're both available. Team Supremus is out, and we are almost coming out. We're almost there with She is Black Dahlia. So I'm excited about all of those books.
Nice. All right. We also got, what's up, Tom?
Welcome to Movie Phone. If you know the movie you would like to see, please dial it into your touchtone phone now.
That's my motherfucker right there. You know what I'm saying, bro? He knows how to pick up a bit. God damn it. And he's the last one, too. That's how you close out the opening segment.
This is what I do for you, Jay. This is what I do for you.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? Just for that, here, look, let's see if we can do this. Here, we'll do this.
Aha!
There you go.
See what happens?
I have triumphed.
I will do what I always do, and that is hold it all up, baby. That's who I am. Okay, I am fucking Atlas. All right, I'll put the goddamn world on my shoulders. See why you got to take me? I'm running a bit here. Let me run the bit, bro. God damn it! You can't set me up and then take it away from me. You know, in the middle of the bit. That's fucked up, man. Shit.
There you go.
You're just gonna get
There you
shuffled around all night. That's the bit.
That's the bit. I was just gonna put. C will be the co-host. There you go. All right. Anyway, let's get down to it. So listen, the show question, right?
Yeah.
What concerns you in the current indie market, and do you have any solutions? And I'm talking specifically to each creator, like because there are greater issues and greater problems, but each of us have our own issues and each of us have our own problems, and all of us are different. Tom's problems are different than my problems, are different from Jay's problems, are different from C's problems, different from Carlos's problems, right? So we each of us got a separate issue. So what issue you perceive for yourself, right, in the upcoming, I guess, year or the next 2 years or whatever, and what are you looking to do to combat that? So let's give it to the most struggling guy on the team. Tom, I know he's struggling. That guy,
got to pay for that lake.
Oh yeah.
I'm not used to going first. I'm usually last. I usually bat and clean up in these things.
That's true.
I guess if we're just talking about personal problems, for me it's the same personal problem that I've had for a while, which is just infrastructure. When we're all creators, right? But when you're dealing with the new world of crowdfunding and everything that goes along with it, creator is often writer, art director, sales guy, run the website, build the campaign, ship the books, deal with whatever problems comes with that. And that's a lot for one person to do. And in my case, it's one person, it's me. There is no team, to help do all this stuff. So for me, it's figuring out, how do I now step forward, like literally take the progress to step forward and say, okay, I'm hiring a dude to ship. And maybe this is an every 3-month thing. They'll come in, ship for a couple of weeks, and then we'll see you in 3 more months, just as long as they know it's a quarterly gig. But anything that I can sort of get off of my plate that allows the creativity side of things to work, because anyone can ship, they can be taught to ship, but not anyone can just write my books. I have to do that part. So, anything that can be taken off of my plate from the sort of the manual labor side of things is going to be monumentally helpful. And then it's the search that we all have. It's the how do we beat the algorithm, so to speak? How do we get our stuff in front of more eyeballs? Better social media, better website, better whatever, more appearances at cons, whatever it happens to be. We got to figure out how to put eyeballs on the product. And in most cases, most of us are doing it without even the retail market. We're not even in stores for the most part. I'm only just coming back to stores for the first time in 8 years. So, we'll see how that translates to anything, once I'm actually in the store. I think everyone's got to figure out infrastructure, and I know that I do.
All right, fair enough. Mike, what are your thoughts on that? Like, what are you finding difficult these days?
This mic or that mic? Which?
That's
No,
C.
me,
Mike? Yeah, you're Mike. You're Mike. He's C.
I think. Well, all right. So we run into a lot of issues. A lot of issues on ours.
Stay on your
deal,
issues.
I'm fucking chill out. We'll get to you, you fuck. So my thing was, I had, and I still do have this like grand plan of like what I was trying to do with this book and this story. It wasn't specifically about like just about money. I was trying to give back with this story. So I was bringing in people for like cameos and all this kind of stuff. And I wrote this whole world out. And then I had to essentially change so much of it to incorporate these other things that I wanted to do. But because I was like, no, this is what I like, this has to be like this, you know? So it's like, I knew that I bit off so much more than I was prepared for in the first place. I just didn't realize that it actually took so much to put out a book, to put everything together. You know, it's my first time really doing any of this. I've written things before. It was my first time actually creating something like this. And I wanted to have it be like Todd McFarlane said, sometimes you're just going to have some ugly ass kids, you know? And I love it. I love the quote, but I just can't truly accept that. Like, I really wanted, like, we've gone back to the drawing board so many different times because I go like, you know what? This has to change. This has to look a different way. You know, now we're back on track to be able to do that, but that took so fucking long. And I think that people don't seem to realize that, you know, you can have a really good idea and a really good story in your head, but don't just think you're just going to be able to put it out. Cause like shit, we've gone through ferrets knocking things over onto our friggin' hard drives or whatever, and then losing all of our work, and then losing all of our work because something else crashes.
Twice.
And then realizing we were in the wrong DPI, so we had to turn around and do Pete, whatever the fuck.
DPI, you had it right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We were in the wrong one there, so we had to turn around and redo all that shit again. Colors were off, and they didn't print up properly and all that kind of crap. So like, there's just so much shit, so much preparation and know-how that you really need to have. Like, I have so much respect for all you fuckers for actually being able to do it, you know, at least the one time, let alone JD's been doing it for, you know, 50,000 years. And it's just like, it's rough.
Estimate, but yeah.
So
listen, I'm not mad because Tom and Jay are not too far off, and neither is Carlos. So, you know.
So it's as far as my, like, what the solution is for us, it's been like research for one thing, like going into researching, talking to people, making all these friends and be like, hey, I ran into this. What are you doing? Like, not just networking just to sell your stuff, but networking to be able to create the product you're wanting to create. And ironically enough, one of the other big steps that we did was we completely stopped doing like streams and YouTube and things like that, because a lot of times I feel what I saw was a lot of these creators who were trying to be up and coming, they focused so much on trying to get so many people backing their stuff that they weren't creating their stuff. They were just like, you know, I gotta get out there. I'm trying to, like, they build this persona, and it's like the main persona that I want to have is that I'm a writer. Like, that's what I'm doing. I'm creating this. I'm not trying to befriend absolutely everyone. And at what point in time do you focus on getting that one last backer that you're just kind of shitting on the backers you already have? So I wanted to start creating that stuff. So that's why we've been, you know, just offline for so long. It's just been work now, you know? So it's like, it's actually kind of weird just jumping back on a stream right now. You know, I'm like, oh shit, I have to answer questions. I forgot. I forgot talking to other people now, you know? So yeah, that's about it.
That's cool. Now, Snoots, you're the other half of the equation. So how do you feel about it?
A lot of what Mike said, definitely, that's absolutely how to describe it. A lot of research. I'm having problems balancing, like, where do I workshop and do studies, and because I'm an artist first and foremost before I'm a comic artist, and I've said that plenty of times on streams and JD stream, and yeah, I'm an artist and I'm getting into comics, so I can draw faces all day long. I can shade and paint and all this shit, but when it comes to digital art and making a panel and making a page and backgrounds and backgrounds, just fuck. I've made the joke recently that I have the reverse Hitler problem. I can draw people all day long. I can't draw landscapes for shit. Where do I find time to do studies and improve what the comic needs? versus actually working on the comic and then working on the comic and then running into, oh fuck, I don't know how to do this. Okay, so do I keep going? Do I work on these other things and just fill in the blanks later? Like juggling what I know, what I don't know, and like how Mike quoted McFarlane, you're gonna have some ugly ass kids. So just like, does this background really need to look that great? Like how so yeah, trying to find the balance of, we're trying to put out a good product, but where can things be acceptable, and where does my effort need to go? Does my effort need to go in tutorials or work right now? That finding that balance, because I'm new to this, and I'll say it all day long. I've said that from the fucking beginning, and it's interesting to say the least that the amount of time and muscle memory, or let me rephrase that, the amount of time that goes into muscle memory, I think people don't really understand. Where like the tutorials you'll see on YouTube of veteran artists, where it's just like, draw a circle, draw a line, and here's this character. It's like
Yeah, I know.
Very helpful. Very helpful.
yeah, very helpful, guys. Whereas I'm in the background of like, all right, I don't have that muscle memory quite yet. So what would take a veteran artist 5-10 minutes takes me all day. So I'm working on it. It's slow, but it's fucking snail's pace, but I'm working on it. I'm trying. But that's honestly my problem, is balancing what I'm good at versus what I'm not, and learning and improving, trying to find that balance in the time.
All right. Sounds like everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like everybody. But listen, you just got to keep going at it. Just got to keep hammering. You know, I mean, look at Jay. He's hardly there, but he's still working at it. You know?
I was kind of worried about it for a second because I thought he froze. He was just kind of sitting.
I'm just trying to keep quiet. You know what I mean? Let the lady have a platform. Sometimes we'll have respect here.
No one was talking to him for like 20 seconds, so he cowered down.
You were so involved. Like, hey, did he freeze?
It's not always about me.
Wake back up.
It's nice to hear that finally. Anyway, Carlos, what are your thoughts on it?
So for me, the first one would be gaining momentum again, because the beginning of 2022, I had my Kickstarter campaigns, I was at $10,000. It was such an amazing experience to be hitting my goals and going way past them, typically within less than a day, making the goal. So that was beautiful. Then, as the two of you know, I went through the beginning of 22, then the wheels came off, and in the most profound way I could possibly. So most of 2022 and all of 2023 was pretty much wasted. So all of the momentum was lost, and there was nothing I could do about it. So it was just wasted time. So for me, it's 2024 is about seeing if I can possibly get that momentum going again. So we've got a couple books that are coming out. We got one that we just finished. So Shadow Kings, just finished the files, the pre-pressed files for that, and it's been sent off to the printers. So I'm looking forward to that one coming in. She is Black Dahlia's. We're closing in on finishing the pages. So again, looking forward to getting that out to people and then lining up the next Kickstarter. It's been a while, so it's like, with the way Kickstarters have been tanking and or making way less than what people's has experienced in the past, that's got me a little bit nervous. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. The other one is dealing with my artists, because half of them are awesome and are communicative, and then the ones that I'm relying on for big projects, I've been having to pull. It's been a pain in the ass, to be honest with you. And my artist on Night Demon, he does amazing art. He just turned in a couple pages that, boom, as soon as I posted it, I got the likes lit up, which doesn't happen too often with the art that I post. Sometimes it does, but for the most part, it's average. When I post his stuff, it's just boom. But it's pulling teeth because he's always got an excuse. Something always happens.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think? Do you think maybe because it's probably more along the lines, it's probably taking on too much work? Do you think that's the case, or do you?
It may be, and it may be that he's not telling me. I know there's a couple other people who have hired him for work, because it's got back to me. He doesn't tell me, but then I talk to them and they're like, yeah, he's supposed to be doing some work for me too. And I try not to get possessive. I know that sometimes I can go down that path, especially if I've paid out. Now, if it's something where the artist is doing work and then I pay the invoices as he goes along, you know what? I'm cool with it. But I do have to back off sometimes, feeling possessive when it's one of those where I've paid half of the work up front because they've asked for it, or I'm in dire need. I need it. All right, man. But when then they start dragging their feet, it's frustrating. So, so that's when I just start feeling it, and I start getting blue, and yeah, I'm in this. I'm in this for the long haul. So yeah, I do get.
So Carlos, hold on a second, because I want to get into that. I don't normally do this, but I do want to get into that little subject there, because a lot of us deal with artists. I know Jay does, I do, I know Tom obviously does. So, and I know Mike. Snoots, I know. C is sometimes, held, he does.
C's there like, what are you gonna say, motherfucker? What are you gonna say?
I know exactly what he's gonna say.
He never gets his shit done. Anyway, no.
Fucking
no.
up, C. Fucking
Yes, come to New York, please. Fuck me up. I'll set up the room for you. You know, we'll have you drawing all the time. But Carlos, what do you think is the best way to approach that? Like, how are you approaching that? Like, how are you approaching dealing with artists like that?
How am I doing it?
Yeah.
I did it before. So this is something I just started within the last 6 months or so. So basically, since the time that I started coming back and producing again, I started putting in the contracts that once they start missing deadlines, I start deducting money. So, and I won't hire them unless they are cool with it. So basically, I put in the contract, okay, you need to turn these pages in by this particular date. If it goes past that date, then I'm docking 10%. And then it gets reset to another deadline date. And if they miss that, then I dock another 10. Now I put in there that I do not go past 50. So I don't want to feel like I'm ripping them off. So I won't go past 50, but I will deduct as they miss each deadline, then a percentage comes off of that. Now with the guys that get the paying ahead of time, now they just don't get a certain percentage once that invoice is due.
Gotcha. Now, Tom, do you think that something like that is fair? Because I know you deal with a lot of guys. I mean, like, how do you?
I mean, it's fair in the context that if someone else agrees to it, then it's fair. If they come into it knowing like if I screw it up, this is what happens, then roll with it. I mean, and I think it's a rational thought process too. For me, basically, if you start missing deadlines, you don't get jobs again. And trust me when I tell you, everyone in every capacity of comics, trust me when I tell you that if you don't do the job, there's 100 dudes behind you that are ready to take it from you. You can say all you want, oh, I'm better than these guys and whatever. It doesn't matter if you don't do the job. We need the job done. So for me, you know, there's always, I mean, you also have to take into account that life happens, right? There's always acts of God, things happen. And you can say, I understand. I understand. But there are limits to that. And if you just continue to get excuses, at some point you have to just pull the plug potentially and just say, look, I'm going to somebody else. Even if it's for like the last half of the issue or whatever. But if someone strings you along for a really ridiculous period of time, there's just no job at the back end of that. And there's also no referral, right? If someone's like, oh, dude, I need somebody. It's like, well, I'm not giving him that guy because he dropped the ball for me. And if I recommend him, then that guy's out of luck. So it's no job. It's no referral. It's all bad. If it's bad on the turn-in side,
unless it's somebody like Calderon who pisses you off that's looking for an artist, and you got somebody like that in your back pocket, so you send them over to fuck. That's you. I got you.
I don't know. Calderon sit over there, tell them, hey, you know this guy I got problems with. You know, Rosario recommended him to me. So I'd be careful with that guy's recommendation. I'm just saying, you might want to be careful.
Hence the reason why I'm in the basement.
You see what I have to deal with? Now you understand why I treat him the way I do. You know? So Mike, Snoots, I mean, you guys are a team, right? So I mean, you guys obviously have had your issues with everything you're dealing with. And I mean, you know, it's a different situation with you guys because you guys are partners, right? But how are you guys holding yourselves accountable to one another? Because you are accountable to only to yourselves. Right, forget the fans, but to yourselves and to your work. How do you hold yourselves accountable?
I yell a lot. That's fair. There's a lot of throwing shit. No,
it's my fault. I left the mop out.
Yeah, she fell down the stairs. I swear. No. There's. Okay, so I'm coming from essentially being a writer and a comic nerd in the first place, and then she was an artist, and I was actually a big fan of her art. Like, legitimately, I have it hanging on my wall, right? And I was thinking in this way, like through this lens, I was seeing everything. So there was a lot of like, is this something you like? Like, would you actually, you know, want to turn this in? And she's like, no. And then I'm like, why the fuck are you showing me it then? Like, this is not fucking right. But it's like, she thought that's what I wanted coming from that side or whatever. But I'm like, think like a fucking artist. That's what I'm paying you for kind of shit. There was a lot of that until we really learned like how to speak each other's language on that, you know? I had set up, we have a way different dynamic. Like, she was paid a lot going into it in the first place, given a place to live, all that kind of shit. So it's different than just her having like just a paycheck as well. You know, it was more of like a
roommates.
More of like I adopted her. It was like, you could totally have a place. Okay, so I kidnapped a lady from the airport and I stuck her in a room and I was like, I'm not going to charge you anything, but draw shit for me if you really want to get down to it now.
This is why I was trying to get C to kick my ass in New York.
We were really, really good friends.
You're going to trap me. Oh my God.
What in the fucking world of taking is going on over here right now?
Misery.
Jesus Christ. I feel like Liam Neeson was going to be like, I will find you. You know what I mean? Come on. Holy shit.
Welcome to Movie Phone.
This This is going off the fucking rails tonight. We're talking about comic books, and they're trying to recreate fucking Nicolas Cage in 88 millimeter. I mean, what the fuck is that? Holy shit! I feel like an S&M dude with a zipper mask is going to come out the background of one of your shots in a second.
To truthfully answer your question, JD, on our aspect, aside from like talking about money and things like that, it's a lot of learning to understand each other, like learning to understand where she's coming from, where I'm coming from, when I need certain things, and what we're holding each other accountable for. Because in the same sense, she'll hold me accountable as well and be like I have a lot of things written and I have a lot of like framework. Yeah, pretty much. No, but she'll turn around and be like, no, I've been working on this page because I don't have anything else. Like I can't move on to the next thing. And I was like, oh shit, I guess I should actually get that to you, huh? Like it's been over here, but but then there's this, she assumes that that's what I'm thinking, and I assume that's what she's thinking. But every now and then you need to like sit down like once a week, I guess, and just kind of talk it out and be like, hey, you know, this is where I'm at. This is what I need this week. This is what I need from you. Okay, in order to get that done, I'm going to need this from you. And then we have an understanding. So it took us a while to realize that we were not on the same page on a lot of things. We just weren't speaking the same language, you know, but once we got to it, we were like, yeah, that's what I want. Good. That's what I fucking want too. I've been telling you that since like, you know, the other day. And then,
So, you know, after Mike was done saying what he was saying, his earlier comment of, you know, he was throwing shit. There's a little bit more weight to that comment now after everything.
Hold on, Jay. So, Snoots, how do you? What's your response? How do you feel about it?
I think one thing that really helped is learning the vernacular of the comics industry. That really helped us because a lot of times, as Mike was saying, it was a misunderstanding. He thought this, I thought this. We were doing the same word to completely different meanings kind of shit. So once we got on the same page with like, okay, this is what this means and this is what I need from you. Okay, now we can go forward. One issue that we ran into, and this might be helpful for as far as communicating with artists and stuff, is if something is too vague, an artist can get overwhelmed with what the fuck you want. So if the artist is spending way too much time problem solving, that's going to inhibit them to go forward. So as a writer, one thing that Mike had to learn is stick figures. I can go so fucking far with stick figures, like draw a stick figure and this is going this way, and then this stick figure is going this way, and then to write a little caption of what the fuck's going on. Cool. Awesome. It's
which
better
worked
than
out
just,
great
like,
for us because that happens to be what I can draw.
Yeah.
That's not as far as I go. Yeah.
Like whenever I kept on asking him like, give me some thumbnails, and he's like, I can't fucking draw what's in my head. I'm like, give me anything. Fucking if this person is walking this way and the camera's over here, that's better than me thinking the camera's over there and they're silhouetted. Like if we're on two completely different pages and I'm sitting here problem solving and I'm give you panel after panel that you're like, no, that's not quite right, then give me fucking something to work with. Just give me the foundation and I can build everything from there. So if an artist is taking too long, they might be taking a long time problem solving if they can't figure out what you want. And finding an artist that is willing to communicate, I absolutely understand. If you are running into an artist that just won't get back to you, there's nothing you can do about that. I'm sorry, but being able to have that constant dialogue is an advantage that me and Mike have, that we're able to touch base frequently. So being able to share and bounce those ideas off is one advantage that we have. Once we got on the same page, it got a lot smoother from there. Being able to communicate frequently.
That's cool. Awesome. I mean, look, I knew I found a great artist when I gave the artist, the description was the god reaches through time and space and snatches this other character from the scene, and they drew it. And I didn't have to give them any more instructions. They did it, and I was like, genius. I don't have to say anything more. So yeah. But yeah, it is a thing about open communication, and definitely. So, Mr. Lanning, you work with a lot of writers. How do you deal with them?
Golly, are you sure you want me to answer this question?
Say the fucking truth, please. Please.
But see, that kind of goes into what my answer. What kind of goes into what my answer is for your question,
Right.
which was the question that I'm reading up at the top of the screen, which you asked earlier. I'm not sure because I was confused. But anyway,
no, I mean you can meld them together.
But that's there's lately there's really been, especially in the community, this like biting each other's back between artists and writers. I've been seeing that a lot lately, and it's kind of it's been this lack of respect, I think, on both parts as far as the creative endeavor is concerned, right? Where as an artist, you think you put a lot more into it than the writer does because you're having to fill in the backgrounds and whatever the case is. But you take into consideration that the writer also has a lot of stuff that they have to figure out too, right? Plot lines, keeping plot holes from happening a lot, things like that. But how do I deal with writers? I'm nice to them to their face, but I'm tearing up the scenes behind the scenes. It's like this mother.
Oh, hi, you again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like yeah, I think Snoots, but it's great to have another artist on the panel because I'm usually stuck between all these writers. But that's exactly it. Like, okay, you have this image that you have, and I'm translating what you want the best way that I can, right? But you're not seeing it that way. So you need to let me know what you see. That's definitely a thing. And then I got to a point with one writer recently that he wanted to combine two panels that didn't make any sense as far as the layout and what we've done before. And I said, okay, I'll tell you what, you need to go ahead and lay this out for me. And because I don't like doing that, but you need to lay it out for me what you see, and then I'll just draw it that way. That's how it is. Or that kind of thing. So, but
that's fair. Jay, it's taken a long time. What do you got to say?
Yeah. Before I answer my question, before I answer your question, excuse me, I wanna call up the super chat for a second there from Michael. Michael's always rocking and rolling with us, right? Embarrassing when an artist has an opportunity to make comics and gets lazy. If I were at a level where people would see my work and I got hired, I would bust my ass between day job and the comic job. Michael, I'm going to let you know, man, for as long as I've been doing this, it doesn't matter what level the collaborator you're working with is at. There are always going to be people who do not carry their load, doesn't matter how much seasoning they have. They could be a rookie or they could be, a professional who's done work for some well-respected books, and you will find that all the fucking time, dude. You just got to find ways to deal with it, and that's what we do here in this program: is find ways to deal with it amongst each other, because it's not all the time that we have the answers. We don't have the answers. We have points. Right, and we just share that with everybody else. And how do you deal with it, right? And it's great that whoever's watching hopefully can take a little bit of tidbit, and it may not be exactly how they should do it or how it applies to them, but maybe they can use a little snippet of what's going on tonight to help them on their creative journey, right? But yeah, man, no matter what level, brother, we're always going to deal with it. As for Calderon's question, dude, 3 years ago, I was with a group of people trying to land a deal in a big box store, right? 2 years ago, I was trying to get back into convention promoting, running my own conventions. Last year, I focused way too much time on building the machine. You know what I didn't do this year? I mean, any of those years that I need to do this year, I'll focus on just being a better writer, right? I look back at some of my old stuff and I'm like, damn, right?
But good on you that you recognize that, because not a lot of people recognize that. Not enough people recognize that.
I want to be entertaining as well as a logical storyteller, right? I want to make sure that, my plot holes are covered. I want to make sure that I leave seeds that could turn into something later on down the road if I ever get there. But I want to tell a good fucking story. I want to tell something that has, not Alan Moore level character depth, right? But has sort of some character interaction where, it gives you a gut punch when you're done with my 22, 24, 32 pages, right? But enough action packed in there to make it seem like the $5 that they're spending on the book is worth the $5 that they're spending on the book. What was it? The Spider-Man book that just came out this week, 40-something pages, right? And in all of that, only 1 page of action, one. And it's like, come on, man, right? That goes back to the old guys that are in the group over here. Where's the beef, right? Well, I mean, where's the fucking beef in that? I want some fucking.
I know that. I understand that saying. That kind of hurts when you say old guys.
Yo, baby, come on. You know what I'm saying? Shit. That's So that's it. So this year, my biggest challenge is focus on myself, focus on my output, become consistent with my output, right? Streamline my whole way of going into this way back was to make sure I have a diversified portfolio. So that way, when I'm doing a convention, I'd have the hard book, I'd have the dark fantasy book, I've had the kids book, right? We got a source book for people who love to play Dungeons and Dragons or whatever superhero stuff, and they need stats and shit. We've got the zombie book for people that want the horror stuff. We got the superhero stuff. We got the mythology stuff. Okay, I am proud in the fact that I can say we've done those. We've been able to put them to bed, right? We've closed them off in either 3 or 4 issue minis, and now it's just coming down to streamlining the stuff that I want to be good at, right? Not just that I need to be good at. Like, you see, you look like you're in your late 20s.
Yeah, that's it.
I'll go with that. She's almost as old as Calderon is, right? Calderon.
Oh, wow.
62, 63?
87.
70.
So yeah, so that's it, right? So what's the biggest challenge that I have to face this year is making myself better. All right.
That's fair.
Which is the last bit of cherry is a fucking uphill battle.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a conundrum. I think a lot of us have to go through. I know for myself, I think it's a matter of moving on. I've been doing the Kickstarter thing for quite a few years now. I've been obviously self-publishing for a minute, but it's moving into different areas of publishing, printing, and doing some certain things. Nothing I want to mention because it's stuff that I want to execute, and I don't want to talk about it until I've executed it. But there are definitely areas that I'm going to be moving into this year that I'm looking to do this year because I have stories that are finally coming to fruition. And once those things come through, I'm looking to move on into other areas. I'm not going to be stopping stuff, but it's just expanding and just seeing what other opportunities are available in other markets.
More porn is what you're telling us. More porn.
Always.
Okay.
There's always room for more porn. that is on the docket. Listen, I wrote girls. Look, I wrote La Blue Girl. Demon Beast Invasion, and Girls of Terror X. And Girls of Terror X is coming back.
So you're gonna write La Green Girl now?
No. Girls of Terror X, sir. Girls of Terror. It is Girls of Terror XXX.
Yeah, but if you got La Blue Girl, you can do La Yellow Girl, La Green Girl,
Yeah,
La
that's
Red
right.
Girl.
Yeah. No, but those are my properties. Those are my properties. Those I was hired to do those things.
Oh, or you could do like the Image way, and you could go Radiant La Blue Girl, Radiant La Yellow Girl, Radiant La Green Girl, right? Oh.
Radiant La Black Girl. There you go.
Oh,
okay. You know, there you go. There you go. And then we can do Radiant Pigtail Girl.
There you go.
Yep. All right. So hold on. So before you ask your question, I want to start pulling up campaigns. We're gonna do that real quick, and then we will do. You know, the guy that's struggling the most, we're gonna help him out first. All right. This guy, like like he needs any help from anybody.
Hey, I lost $100 today on my campaign.
Oh my God! I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Well, man, I mean, damn.
His quest for the Polito number got that much further away from it.
Yeah. How's he gonna afford that second link?
You know?
I mean, I need a boat, right? I gotta have a boat. Come on. That's got to be like the stretch goal is get Tom a boat.
Get Tom a boat. There you go. All right.
He's not just going to have the name Critter on the boat. He's going to also have the painted image on the boat too. That's his.
Do you want me to play this video, Tom?
Sure, you can. It's only like 50 seconds or something. So yeah.
All right, cool. See? Nice. I like it. Short and sweet.
Yeah, you got to keep it easy. I mean, even here's the funny thing is even within that context of a 50-second video, right? We've had a total. In fact, I can bring up the stats. We've had 103 plays, and only 60% of those plays went all the way through. And it's only 50 seconds long. So that's why I really don't put much stock in videos, but I've had that one for a long time. So I was like, all right, I'll just put it back in.
That's right. I haven't seen you do any videos.
Yeah, no, I don't do them. I just don't put stock in them. I put more stock in them when you're new to it, when people are trying to figure out who you are and what you're doing. You want to have some sort of video in there, but I've been doing this long enough that I'm kind of like people know what's going on. We don't need to worry about that stuff.
Right.
Nice.
So yeah. So this is the return of Critter. This is our superhero series. This is the first book I ever started writing back when I wanted to figure out if I could write a comic book. You know, well, we're in 14 years of this book now, but you know, it was a few more years as I was figuring it out. So about 16 years ago, I was trying to figure out if I could write a comic, and this was it. So it's been on hiatus for a while as we've been focusing on other books that have had these 10-year anniversaries come through. So it's great to finally get this book back, and we're going to be focusing on it all year so that we're going to wrap up volume 6. We're going to do 3 issues this year. The 4th issue will land in January of next year. That'll wrap up volume 6 and start our 15-year anniversary in 2025. That's Omar and Hedwin Zaldivar on those sample pages there. So they're doing some amazing work with this book. Nice. For the entire series that we've been working on this, we've always had in the background of her story the idea that there's this multiverse in the background, and we've dropped these different versions of Critter in these little tiny scenes and so on. And in this volume, in volume 6, we finally get to actually tell you what the hell is going on. Who are these people? Where do they come from? How do they get to where they are? What is this, what we call the Critterverse? And how does it work? And so that's part of what's really exciting about writing this arc now, is that I finally get to wrap up all of these little weird questions and hints that I've dropped for so long. And now I can be like, this is how it works. This is what it is. And then when we get done with it in Critter 25, and we kind of have it all sort of like, this is what you need to know, then we kind of relaunch the series into sort of a Critter 2.0 with all of this new, these new ideas wrapped up, and we kind of push the story forward. So I'm super excited to finally get through all of this and to have it be part of our 15-year anniversary next year.
Nice. Are we looking at an omnibus, Tom?
No plans for omnibuses right now because we've got plenty of trade paperbacks.
Gotcha.
But at some point we'll do that. At some point when the trade paperbacks run dry, we'll do like a 5-volume omnibus and have that available for sale. But right now it's very easy to sell trade paperbacks. Very easy. That's one of the biggest parts of this campaign. Is it's not just Critter 22, it's also the trade paperback for volume 5. So we have all kinds of people that are just diving in and buying all the trade paperbacks. They're just like, give me 1 through 5. I want all of it.
Nice.
And that's awesome, because that's not just backers and stuff, but that's actual readers, because those guys, if they're buying trade paperbacks, they want to read the book. And that's what we need above all else, is ultimately readers. So here's volume 5 with a new cover by CB Zane with the bad guys on it. And so that'll collect 16 through 20 of the series. And then volume 6 is 21 to 25, which is what we're working on here. On Friday, Britney Spears celebrated 25 years of her first album dropping. So we did a little Britney Ears tribute for her, Brian Peterson and Sanju Nivengoon.
Tom, how long did you have that information before you were able to whip that up?
What information? The Britney Ears?
Yeah, no, like, all right, she's dropping it, her 25-year anniversary. Did you know it was coming up? Like,
oh yeah, dude, I knew that last year. There's nothing that I do that I have not planned at least a year ahead of time.
Nice. See, somebody has to have a plan.
There you go.
We do have action figures, of course. We got those out last year, so we still have some action figures. You got the classic original light blue, and then you've got the modern dark blue, so you can get those figures if you like them. They're full-size 6-inch figures, tons of articulation, extra hands, the tail moves, everything. They're great.
Yes, it's a really nice figure. I keep forgetting. I have to start bringing it downstairs.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I have it upstairs. It's on my shelf. So
if you like stuff like metal trading cards, we've got a couple of sets of trading cards there as well. Yeah, just a nice big 4-piece puzzle. And then the next set is sort of preview art for covers that are on the way, including Joe Chiodo drawing Critter. What?
Nice.
Yeah, it's awesome. Freaking awesome. And then you can just get your combos here. If you just want to catch up and try the series out, you can get the last 2 issues, nice and easy, 21 and 22, super easy. Everything's available digitally too. So especially if you're overseas and shipping is a nightmare and you want to just do digital, we can do digital for you. Paradox Paradigm, that's the expansion of the Critterverse. Those are all characters from Critter's story that got their own one-shots. Those are all old books though, so I don't have any of those physically. So that's just a digital set only, but it's stuff that we've never had available for you before. So we've got those. And then here's the complete combo. Just get every freaking thing we've ever done, all the trade paperbacks, the spin-offs, the current issues, everything in one shot. Nice. Then we have mystery boxes that gives you variant covers from some of our other titles. So it's a nice starter set as well as a mystery box. And then you're guaranteed to get that Keith Garvey cover. We only made 50 of these boxes, so there's only 50 of those covers. And then that little critter down at the bottom, that's a little acrylic figure like one of these right here. And that's part of the box as well.
Cool.
And then the 9 Lives Plus combo is all 9 covers, plus the Britney Ears bonus, and plus the acrylic figure. You can just get the whole thing in one shot.
Nice.
And then everything is available in foil and metal as well. So if you like to make them fancy, you can take your choice. Foils and metals, all of that's printed to order. So if we get orders for 12, that's what we're making. So they're all very, very super limited. But depending on how you like to collect stuff, foils and metals are available on all of it. And then the rest of it is just the Big Dog Inc. universe. It's trade paperbacks and single issues from all the different series that we do: Ursa Minor, Scheherazade, Kaiju Epic, Goth Day, Joan of Arc. Even the 2 new preview books that we have for It's Only an Island if you look at it from the water, the shark book right there, and the Gladiator book, Sand and Scales. So you can get those as well. Yeah, so you can dive into Critter in all kinds of ways, and you can dive into everything that we do at Big Dog Inc. as well.
All right, cool. So,
How you doing
Tom,
with the
how many?
mystery boxes?
What?
How are you doing with the mystery boxes on them?
They're about halfway sold.
Okay, good.
Yeah. We pretty much sell out of them. The last 2, like I think I have 4 left of the one we did for Penny for Your Soul, and I think I have 10 left of the one we did for BD13. So they sell really, really well.
Okay. Yeah, I've never done one for a campaign. I always do it at conventions.
Mhm.
They do well at conventions. I
Mhm.
just never thought of doing it at a campaign.
I had people get bent out of shape because we didn't have them on the last campaign for Princess
Really?
versus Zombies. They were like, "Where's the mystery box? Did they sell out?" I was like, "No, we didn't do them." They were like, "No, boo!" And I was like, "Okay, well, fine, we'll do it again. We'll do it again. Not a problem."
How many campaigns are you looking to do this year?
It's going to be at least 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Most of them in the first half of the year. And then as we get past July, we'll have just a couple towards the end. Yeah. But almost one a month through July.
So you got the whole year planned out.
I got this year, next year, and 2026 planned out.
All right. Now,
Nice.
what happens when you got a hiccup?
Depends on the hiccup.
Okay.
But if the hiccup is simply we've fallen behind on art or something, we just keep going. And we tell people like, hey, this is where we are. This is where we are on this book. Might take a little extra time to get it to you, but we just keep on going. In the case of this book, Critter, all the art is done. The colors are underway. So, and in fact, Hedwin has 4 more that he's about to drop in my lap in the next couple of days. So we'll post more samples as he does it. But we're supposed to have it all finished in February. That way we can get it off to the printer, have the books back to us towards the end of March, hopefully at the latest, and then we'll actually start shipping them as the next Critter is launching. So we should have a very nice, overlap for shipping and starting a new campaign.
Good shit.
So, Carlos, I mean, you wanted me to post this up. What do you want to tell? What's coming up for you, sir?
So what's coming up for me would be the She is Black Dahlia. But if you want to just scroll down there. Keep going. Although that's the one we want to talk about. So we have Shadow Kings that's coming out, which it's a joint between myself and Iron Gate Comics, which basically it's taken us years to get this thing done, which is sad, but it's just the way things go. We basically, Rodney and I took a lot of our martial arts characters that were in our universes, and we basically smushed them together and created a pretty cool story based off of those characters. Shadow Dragon goes to he's a Secret Service agent in my universe. This one's kind of like a universe that's combined between the two of us. So he leaves his job as a Secret Service agent to head over to Japan because his uncle, Benny, the Crimson Shaolin, who is up there on the top right, the bald-headed guy, he is turned up missing, but he's been sending him cryptic messages about where he is. And in the meantime, a bunch of Triad and Yakuza go after him. So there's a shit ton of ninjas and martial arts action, and it's basically a love letter to 1970s martial arts comics, what do you call that? Deadly Hands of Kung Fu and Iron Fist and the Marvel mags from that era, as well as the Bruce Lee movies, the martial arts movies, and we just kind of created something that kind of is an homage to that.
Cool. When are you going to drop this, or when is the campaign?
The campaign. It's Rodney's campaign that he's running, so he hasn't decided yet when we're going to drop it. It's going to be for. We have half the book already done, so basically, when we do the campaign, more than likely the book's going to be pretty close to done. So it'll be one of those where there's not going to be a whole lot of waiting from end of campaign to getting the book delivered. This is the fan edition. So it's basically a 12-page preview of what you're going to see in the full length. And if you want to get out of there and scroll a little bit, you'll run into that, into a few of those pages.
Cool. So, all right. Is this his? No, this is your other book.
No, that's Night Demon.
That's the other. So here's a question for you, Carl. How many projects do you have running at the same time? How many artists are you employing here? What's going on?
So what do we got going? So right now, as of right now, we have Night Demon, which is going on, but that one's been in the pipeline for 2 years now. Right. That's the one that I was talking to you about, the artist who's super duper slow. Then there's She Is Black Dahlia, which we're getting close to the end of that. That Kickstarter ran last year and was successful, and we are getting close to wrapping that up. And then after that, then there is Pandora's Army, my all ages book. That one is, we're already almost 20 pages into that. Right now, I'm dealing with the getting a colorist for it. So we're currently auditioning a colorist. Once we finalize that, then we're going to get those 20 pages colored. That's in the pipeline. Then we have Aldous Eternity. And that book, that one just started a few months ago, but we've got about 6 or 7 pages into that one. Artist, he's just waiting for the script. So that's kind of like the flipping the script. It's he's waiting on me and not the other way around. But I've been just busy lately. There's been a lot of things going on in the background that has pulled my attention. And then let's see. I always forget. Oh, we've got the new Remarkables. Issue 2 is the Kickstarter will be launching for that one very soon. That one, I believe I said it was going to be in March when we launched the Kickstarter for the second issue of New Remarkables. And that one we've fairly well along the way on that one. But I've been working on that one for a while now. It's just a matter of launching the Kickstarter and getting the funds to get the last few pages completed. And then, I think that's it.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, listen, man, you got a full slate, man. I mean, you're looking to do what, 4 or 5 campaigns this year?
That's the plan. So,
nice.
Though technically it's going to be 3 for me, and then I've got one that Rodney, that one, the Shadow King's Rodney's going to be running that campaign, but I'm still a part of it.
Okay, cool. I mean, when you guys are ready to launch, let me know. We'll bring Rodney on. And then we can help that guy out.
Sounds good. Yep. Oh yeah, we'll make sure we do that.
Then we're gonna try to help out another guy here. This guy.
I was going to ask about Lanning if he was okay. He was running the Max Headroom there for a minute.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at that, little me. Look at that.
He made it.
Yeah, so we were funded this morning. We still got 27 days to go, so we've got quite a few stretch goals to hit. So yeah, if you want, you can play the video though.
Is this an
triple it.
actual video and not just your podcast?
Yeah, it's an actual video, boy.
Okay. It better not be longer than 2 seconds.
Shield of the Interceptor is the story of the last knight of Avalon, a modern-day hero who discovered the long-lost and forgotten Shield of Avalon and is trying to keep it out of the hands of those who use it for the wrong reasons. Now, we are looking to raise the money to print up issue number 5, but you can still pick up issues number 1 through 4. If you are in a position to do so, we'd love to have you help us reach our project goals. If not, can you please share it with those that you know are into comic books? Thanks for checking us out.
All right, cool.
It sounds like I got a rod in my mouth there, bro. Oh my god, I gotta change my voiceover. Oh my god, I sound disgusting. maybe that song I did at the top of the show really wasn't that well. But all right, so here we go.
It spoke for itself. I don't even have to say anything this time.
Thanks, brother. Thanks. You always hurt the ones you love. I know. All right, so we're talking about Shield of the Interceptor. This is a cover illustrated by Francesco Tomaselli. He has done covers for Todd McFarlane Productions with Spawn and Scorched, Boom Studios with the Power Rangers. He's done Darkwing Duck covers. He's done a Superman cover, a Green Lantern cover, the Zod cover, for, a few Zod covers for DC, amongst others. And the Transformers cover that was an exclusive.
Optimus Prime. Yeah.
He's hit me up a ton of times, but I've never been able to hire him for anything. I've wanted to.
Good dude. So we're running. I think there's like maybe another hour left on this one. There is a special early bird reward for anybody who is back in this within the first 24 hours, and you get a special Wizard homage from the magazine as a trading card with Unstoppable comic characters. I stole the idea from the man down there in the bottom, Mr. Tom Hutchison. All right, if something is good, something is good, and I got no problem saying I swipe the idea. But one of the things that we are also doing is for anybody who is a returning backer, we're giving them a very exclusive holochrome trading card. When the thing is over, I'll show you what the holochrome finish looks like, and they come shipped in the top loader. So we don't have frequent flyer miles. We do not have that special punch card to get your 7th coffee for free. But what I can do is say thank you to everyone who has ever supported us. Those things are for physical backers only, though, folks. So we're looking to fund issue number 5, but you can pick up other stuff as well. We have issues 1, 2, 3, 4. We have Storm Chaser number 5, which is the first appearance of the Interceptor. We have Unstoppable Origins number 1, which is the origin story of the Interceptor. And then we got this little bad boy. I love this. We're all, old school heads. We're big fans. So the Unstoppable character guide is this bad boy over here. And it's kind of like a source book, like the old Marvel Universe handbook or the old DC Who's Who. So it's a great companion guide for those who want to know more about the characters that are showing up in Shield of the Interceptor. We have a couple of preview pages coming down the pipe there. So it's illustrated by Andres Barrero. He also illustrated issues number 3 and 4, some of the Storm Chasers and stuff for New York versus the World for me. So Andres and I have worked together for a long time. There we go. There's the creative team, myself, Andres, our colors, Champe. My wife is doing the lettering. And then we got Francesco, who is the cover artist on the book. One of the fun things I have been able to do with all of my campaigns is utilize trading cards as stretch goals. So with all the campaigns we've hit quite a few stretch goals, and the trading card set has been growing. So you can pick up the entire trading card set if you want, or you can back us and you can get whatever gets unlocked in the stretch goals. And then underneath is the holochrome cards that was there. We have quite a nice catalog of books because we've been doing stuff for a minute. So you can get our entire digital catalog if you're looking to save space. And these are the t-shirts that we got going on as well.
Very nice.
And that's it.
Is the one on the bottom? Is that the new one?
No, the one on the top is the new one. The one on the bottom is our first one. Yeah, the gray one is one I was wearing last night, but the one on top is the brand new one.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's it. You know, the Interceptor is the centerpiece of my universe. I'm having fun writing him. I feel like it is the old Fantastic Four book when it was the linchpin of the Marvel Universe, and all new characters would show up through that book, or new storylines, or things that would impact the rest of the Marvel Universe would start off there in the Fantastic Four, and that's what the Interceptor is. He's just the centerpiece of the Unstoppable Comics universe. So we are starting a brand new story arc, and I'm happy to be writing it.
I want that cover.
My man, that cover's available. And we're only doing one cover, so that's one of the things I was talking about earlier. I was focusing too much on the machine, and when you focus on the machine, I was just losing so much sight of so many other things. So we're only doing one cover. I have done variant covers before. I've done multiple covers. I've done premium covers. I'm not knocking it. I'm not tearing it up. I just need a nice, simple campaign right now for the beginning of the year, so I can focus more on writing
and get that momentum and just that feeling good about yourself and the company.
It's the baseball addict, right? I just want to get it back on base again.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I was in a batting slump, so let's just get back on base. That's why the campaign goal was low. We're just looking to get the money to print up the book and ship it out. I'm not looking to recoup expenses on this at all. Just let's get this bad boy up and ready to roll.
So this is issue 5. When are you looking? Like, what's your publishing schedule for this looking like for the next year?
So I'm hoping to get 2 more out by the end of the year. All right.
Nice.
Issue number 2 is getting illustrated right now, and part 2, which would be issue number 6, is getting illustrated right now, and then part 7. I'm working on the first draft of that one, but I am releasing another book besides this one. So I do have things that were done, paid for last year, and there's going to be 4 different books at least besides the Interceptor released. And again, I was focusing on machine, and focusing on the machine, I was hemorrhaging money. I was just paying for work. I'm hoping it all pays off this year for me.
All right, fair enough, man. I mean, you got another, what is it, 27 days?
27 days. And we got a ton of stretch goals lined up for this bad boy already, man.
And if you want any of the champion books for your stretch goals, digital stuff, reach out.
My man.
I've got a couple that, including one that's going in AP in Exciting Comics this next year. So if you want it, it's yours.
We'll roll, baby. And likewise over here. And that goes for anybody else. If anyone wants to do, a PDF swap as a stretch goal in their campaigns, hit me up. I got no problem sharing that.
I'm playing musical chairs.
Yeah, you're not playing musical chairs. You're playing Hollywood Squares. Jesus Christ!
You gotta shave those things down to 3 weeks, man. Please, God.
You know what? I know. I tried the 3 weeks a few times, and my last 2 campaigns, the first one we did 3 weeks, I was sweating out my fucking ass, bro. I mean, we did not hit the goal, and it was a bigger goal. It was a $3,000 goal. We did not hit it until maybe 12 hours before the campaign was over.
Yeah, but see, that doesn't mean that you wouldn't have hit it in 3 weeks. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because if you were hitting it at the end of the campaign anyway, You could have been hitting it at the end of a 3-week campaign.
I got you. But
Yeah.
I also have a scheduling problem going on with this as well. You know?
Okay.
So I don't want it to fall into to the weekend at the end of 3 weeks that I would have been busy doing something else.
Sure.
So,
No, I understand that. Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'd push it. I pushed it later as opposed to sooner.
All right. So unlike Jay, I do have a 21-day campaign running.
My man. That's my man.
Hi, teacher. You didn't give us any homework this week.
Listen, you already knew I was doing this ahead of time, buddy, so you know it was coming. All right. It's not my fault you're behind the 8 ball. You know, so I mean, look, it's the Oswald Chronicles. This is issues 1 through 6 of I Was There and I Remember. This is a period of time when Oswald is in Dream, and he is recounting his life in Dream to his friend Diane, and he's basically recounting his a portion of his life while he was in Dream. When he becomes emperor, he becomes the emperor of obviously of an empire. He gets married, has children, goes to war, has massive battles, and this is a huge part of his life. And,
so this is a trade.
No. This is just issues 1 through 6.
Oh, okay.
This is the first. This is the entire story, though. This is all 6 issues. So it took us a little bit to get here, but it's here. And this is illustrated by Jade Gonzalez. I have with colors by the cover is a color by by Clement Mugino. This cover is by Mannix, and I have again Jade Gonzalez cover, and this cover is by Diego Toro. Did a really nice cover.
She got some beautiful covers there. Damn.
You know, and I mean Jade's artwork in this is just, it's nice. I mean, it's black and white now. Some point in the future, maybe it'll be in color, but right now it's just in black and white. But it's like I said, my passion project. I love doing this stuff, but that's it. Got another 14 days. For the first 45 physical backers, everyone's gonna get an acrylic pin and this coaster. So that's for the first 45 physical backers. Are the first stretch goal, I will be giving away a sticker which is going to have an image of Oswald wearing a dragon suit, and it's an homage to Year of the Dragon, which is coming up for the Chinese New Year.
Look at Champe trying to slide into your DMs there.
Champe did the.
You see that?
Champe did the colors on that. That's right. Champe, all places.
You know what? I think I need to do what Mike is doing, and I gotta heist him, stick him in the corner of the apartment. Be like, you work for me now. Did him out. You know what I mean?
I make one joke. I make one fucking joke.
That's all you understand? I run that shit to the ground. I'm in the dad joke portion of my life.
Jesus Christ.
I will take a joke to the nth level.
That's it. So Jay, ask your question, bro. Now that we're done with all the
what I was going to ask now.
So you bet. Shall we move it on to C?
No, okay, all right. You know that image where the guy's walking, the meme where the guy's walking with the girl, and he's looking at another girl, right?
No.
Yeah.
And they use it for I don't know anything.
No. Can you pull it up?
Absolutely fucking everything. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I've never seen it. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. So then, you know what?
Come
It sucks to be you then.
Bullshit.
But what you call it? How do you finish what's on your plate? How do you stay focused and not get distracted by the shiny new bauble or the brand new project or the brand new idea that you want to work on or develop on, but you still have yet to finish this piece of work? How do you stay on track?
All right, Mike, you're up.
Oh, he's asking us. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, that one was relatively easy. We literally just kind of shut off doing YouTube and things like that, and just kind of put our heads down. Like, hey, this is what's up. Like the only times that we've since then scrapped something and did it like this or something like that was just because she would like have a really good day of like, oh man, check this out. I did this design of like this. And I'm like, I fucking love that. That's awesome. That's actually more what I had in my head when I created this character or whatever, like that kind of shit. Let's do that. Like it's all about like, if she produces something that we both feel really good on, anything else outside has just been stuck outside. Like we shut off like radio silence essentially of any outside influence.
Okay.
And if we needed something like, say, you know, reaching out to JD or one of our other friends of like, hey, how does this work? Like, how do we do this? We've hit a wall. We go out there for help instead of constantly streaming something or constantly watching someone else's stream. One of the big things that actually like messed me up in the first place was getting into it and trying to market and getting out there. I was constantly watching other people and seeing what they did, and that helps a lot. But sometimes you get wrapped up in, oh, they did this, we have to do this. When that doesn't work, like not every idea works for every creator, works for every comic, you know? So I didn't want to wrap us up in changing every little thing to chase that next thing that pops up, you know, because we already had backers that wanted the stuff we're presenting now, you know, instead of something that's like, we're not at that level of being, you know, we're not producing the stuff that like the 30 and 40-year vets that are on YouTube, you know, pushing their stuff and making $1 million and whatnot. So we need to make our people happy and stick with what we can do.
I'm sorry, who's
instead of
making
trying to
$1
do
million
that.
on their campaigns right now?
A couple of assholes. I don't want to fucking throw us into anything, but
Good call.
Let's just say it's people who get people who get royalties. Those people.
But you know what's funny? Not many. This is one of the things we were talking about last night, guys. Not many of the industry professionals can do what we do, right? They don't have that well-rounded work ethic to handle many plates being spun at the same time, right? They need the machine to promote them because they can't do it on their own.
Yeah. This is true. So, Mike, did you have more?
No, I think that's good. It's a good spot.
Okay. So, Snoots, what's your look? What's your take on the question?
Repeat the question.
I don't know. I fly
Short
off
attention
the
span.
man. Come on. No, how do you stay on target?
Focus. That's right.
Yes.
So
yes, News. How do you stay focused?
yeah.
Uh-oh.
So one thing that's been getting to me is this project has been taking a long time, but I started this project wanting to do a bullshit webcomic to get my name out there. Okay. And then I'm happy it evolved, but it evolved into something so much bigger. And as Mike said, definitely bit off more than I could chew. And just having to come to terms with that. And as you guys mentioned, you're not going to recommend artists that you're not working well with, whether they're not following through or whatever it is. You're only going to recommend artists that you would actually recommend, for lack of better words. So I've been having to essentially swallow my pride, focus on this project, knowing that if I start throwing my name out there and if I start agreeing to being able to do a cover for you and this and that and the other, I'm just going to be spreading myself thin, and all these other people I could potentially be working with, they're not going to be happy because I still have a project that I haven't finished. I'm not going to finish their project because I'm spread too thin. So I've been forcing myself to stay focused, knowing that when this project's done and I'm able to actually be proud of what I can do and less is on my plate, then I can go forward with all the other connections and all the people I've had to say no to. I can come back and say, hey, I'm back out there. And even if they're not willing to hire me, keeping that good relationship and not having burnt that bridge, I know if they're not able to hire me, they know somebody who will. So what's been keeping me at bay and focused is honestly knowing I'm not burning bridges. Just staying focused, knowing work will be there when I'm ready.
I think Yeah, I think they froze. I think they froze.
I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was me for a second. I said, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah, I thought it was me too.
Yeah. I think it's the little the Oompa Loompa with the dagger in Snoots' back that shut everything down because she was Mike gave the signal and it was like, oh, cut it. I'm running that joke a little too much. I think I should leave it alone.
Probably.
Is everything back?
Yes,
Are we
you're
good?
back. What happened
You're
to Mike?
back. Mike is still stuck though.
Did you escape? Did you get away? Did you get out? I hope you got out.
Funny about all this, in college, I had the running joke as being a buffer demon. Like, I would walk in while people are trying to watch, like, the season finale of whatever, and...
She's back. She's back. Oh, then she freezes.
No,
Oh,
she freezes.
Oh, he got pissed off. He was like, you say no more. You say no more.
It's weird that she froze because we have the same fucking internet. So
yeah, there she is. She's back.
There she is.
Story.
Yes.
What
so what are you gonna say?
What did I do to the fucking stream? Swear to God, every time.
I have one thing to say, or to add to something that I feel like maybe she finished that thought, or I thought she was going that way before everyone froze, but that actually brought something up to mind. When we first started up, she did do a couple other covers that, like, we actually worked really hard on these covers, and they turned out, I personally think they turned out fucking great. They were really good. One of them didn't even get used. We didn't necessarily lose contact with the people we did the covers for, but we kind of got, like, they went in this direction trying to, like, push their name out there and all this kind of shit. And we were like, yeah, let's do this. We specifically did the covers for free just to be like, hey, free marketing, just put us out there, just drop our name every now and then, right? And not to go into talking a whole bunch of shit there, but one of the things that I feel like people need to keep in mind is that with indie comics, like, none of us are better than anyone else. Like, don't reach your hand out to pull someone up to where you are and whatnot, just to turn around and go, oh, well, this person here, and go over there and just totally fuck this guy who's trying to get his name out there too. Like, we're all kind of in this together. We all are comic dorks in our own right, where we all are trying to create something and trying to push our shit out there. So if someone's reaching out for a little bit of help or whatever, don't fuck them just because someone else that may seem bigger and flashier or whatever is now looking in your direction. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't sit there and try to keep pushing out mediocre stuff to get your name out there when you could just focus on one good thing and you already have a little bit of a following. Like, don't turn away from the following that you have because you want to start creating something that's way bigger and flashier because that's what this guy's doing. A lot of times people need to be just, we're not big industry, and that's good. Like, when I grew up with those indie comics, when it was like, this was a guy just trying to push out this specific story, and it's cool because it allowed us an escape from the other shit that we're being bombarded with throughout the day. And I feel like people need to remember that sometimes. They need to stay humbled with that,
Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of guys like that, though. I mean, unfortunately, that's just one of the things we're going to experience. I mean,
Mike, I'm one of them. I'll step on Calderon just to get a half-inch higher on the
exactly
line. You know what I mean?
He tries it. He tries it all the time. He's got nothing but buried for it. So, Carlos, how do you feel about the question? How do you stay focused?
Jay formulated this one for me because and it kind of goes into what would have been my final tidbit from your question, which I was going to say after corralling the artist that it was I needed to get more organized. And for this one, I've got so much that I want to get out there. It's so hard because it's not like my writer's block is not something that affects me. It's probably the other way around. My notebook that I put in all of my ideas into, it runs out of pages kind of thing. I'm constantly, whether it's a dream or whether it's just living my daily life, stuff is constantly coming into my head creatively. So it's been so hard to kind of try and scale back. But that goes along with the organization. I need to be a little bit more organized and finish off the stuff that's already on the burner. So I really need to start putting stuff more on the back burner until I can get some of this other stuff caught up. But it's hard. It's hard because you see it and it's like, man, that would be an awesome story. This is great. And I want to get started on creating reference art and character art and taking it in the direction I want to go. And then I'm like, but I still got all of this other stuff that's needs to get touched on. So it's not easy. It's going to take a bit of mental organization just to kind of catch up on it. But so far, so good. I haven't really gotten too far ahead. I did go over a few of these stories and projects that I have for the next year, but a lot of that stuff, it's not new. I think Aldous is probably the newest one, which is a few months old. Other than that, most of this stuff's old. So really, I am just catching up to the old stuff and trying to get it done and put out.
That's fair. Mr. Tom, you got a lot of irons in that fire. How do you keep it all straight?
Yeah, it's you have to make a decision. You can be as unfocused as you want to be. I'm highly unfocused. When I wake up in the morning, I don't know what I'm writing, but I'm writing something. So you can be unfocused. So the answer to Chompy's question is being focused the same as being hungry. No, you can be wildly unfocused and still produce work. But the more focused you can be as far as like a release schedule, that's how you can sort of take all of the shiny things and put them in a line. Like I said, I know everything that we're doing from now until the end of 2026. And so along with that sort of through line for me, I know how much time I have to tinker with something that's for next year while saying, you know what, I've got 3 weeks for this particular thing to, get knocked out. This has to be done by the end of March. This thing has to be done by the end of December. But if I'm not feeling the March thing, I can come over here and tinker around and then come back to it. But it's somebody said today that they hated self-imposed deadlines. But when you're a creator, you don't have a choice. That's all you have is self-imposed deadlines. And it's how you treat those self-imposed deadlines that dictates your release and your consistency and your needed focus and so on and so on. If you don't have deadlines for yourself, you'll be unfocused forever and nothing will happen. That's where Chompy's question comes into play. But if you can focus yourself within the context of issues 1, 2, 3, something else, some other little project, issues 4, 5, 6, little project, and you know what it looks like for a year for you, then your mind can wander a little bit more. You can have a little more fun with what you're doing versus the heavy duty. I got to have this done in 2 weeks so I can get on to the next thing in 2 weeks and the next thing in 2 weeks. Because none of us are on those tight of deadlines. None of us are doing monthly books. So if we know everything's quarterly, but you also know that next year you want to do X, Y, and Z, you just have to line it all up and you can start to see where you can turn your head to the other thing like Jay was asking about. But you guys, the trick is that you always have to know when to turn back around.
Fair enough. Mr. C.
Oh, that is the hard part, and that's the deadline. That's the internal. I have to get this done, right? Because if you're working at Marvel, your editor would be like, "Motherfucker, you have 3 days, and if you don't do it, guess what? You're fired. You're gone. You're out of here." So you have to put that on yourself to some degree, even though knowing you're not going to get fired, right? But you have to understand that if you're not coming through, you're your fans could fire you. Because if the stuff becomes inconsistent, whether the writing is inconsistent, the art, whether the production schedule is inconsistent, once inconsistency happens in your brand, it's hard to kind of bring it back and tighten it up again and get the people that were your employers, basically, which are your fans, to kind of say, yeah, we're back with whatever's going. So, most people understand that, particularly in the indie world and guys like us that are all doing it ourselves, they know we're going to trip. We're going to stub our toe. Weird things are going to happen.
Right.
There's going to be leeway for that kind of stuff, but it can't be every time. It can't be all the time. But as long as they see you kind of like working and showing progress and continuity, you'll be okay. But you have to have some sort of an internal dialogue with yourself that says, Critter 1 has to be done by February. Critter 2 has to be done by June. Critter 3 has to be done by December. You have to have that in mind before you can start to turn your head to another project and say, okay, I'm going to mess around with that. Right. And as you mess around with that, you have to have a timeline that says, now I have to come back. So there's no answer to how do you do it. It's simply Nike. Just do it.
Just do it. Exactly.
Yeah.
I get it.
Right.
I get it.
I don't think you do, but okay. But how do you feel about it? Wait. Let's see. Answer the question. Okay. You're gonna get your.
Because I kind of want to hit an antithesis on this, because that works well for somebody who's producing their own comic book, but that does not necessarily work for someone who's being hired to do something. Okay, that's the deal, and that's where you come into Chompy's response and why that works for me. Because that's what's going to keep me focused is what I have to do to get paid if I'm doing it for somebody else. So that's what's it. Because I could say I've had 2 people come to me. I'm working on a book now. I'm working on 2 books now. Come on, JD, give me a break.
What? I didn't say it.
And then I have somebody else that came up and said, okay, they're interested in hiring me for something else. I said, okay, well, I won't be ready to do that until the end of March or whatever the case is. So whatever I do now, I need to focus on getting what I have now done so that I can open it up to have more jobs later on. See, that's the kind of hungry hireling artist part, What sucks about that is there is stuff that I have for my own personal that I'm working on too. And unfortunately, that has to take a back burner sometimes. But what helps me stay focused is actually having to be held accountable by somebody else.
Gotcha. Oh, okay. So I need to just call you more often and be like, what the fuck?
Man, bug me.
Fucking gay.
Like, what the fuck?
I tell you what, if you want to do some layouts,
I can do stick figures with the best of them. Let me tell you.
I know. I have some of your layouts, actually.
They're shitty.
But see, even in what Michael's saying, right? It's all comes down to one thing. It's deadline. It's when does it have to be done? So if Michael's work, even if you're being hired by somebody else, right, and you're being paid to do it, if the deadline is loose, that gives you opportunity to go do the stuff that you were, you want to do on your own. But if you, if at some point you're doing something on your own, and then the guy that's hiring you is like, well, you have 2 weeks, you have to come back. That's a thing that you have to make that decision now. I have to come back and do his thing. But if he's just like, next couple of months, whatever, then the deadlines become loose. So it's the answer basically is always deadline. When is it due? What time? What extra time do I have versus what no time do I have?
Well, what if the motivating factor in lack of a deadline is, I'm going to have a gap in the revenue stream at this point.
Well, so that's the deadline. If you have a gap in the revenue stream, that's your deadline to avoid the gap. If you see the gap coming, you go, "Oh shit, that's my deadline. I need something out."
Yeah, that's where I think Chompy was coming from. Is that's what the focus is I need to eat. So, I know by this point in time, I need to have food on my table, so I got to get money by then.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
I'll answer the question real quick. So I know for myself, it's a little different. What I tend to do is I work deep in advance, right? I have like a bunch of stories already in the can. when I know one of my artists is coming to the end of a story, I'm already breaking down a story or already have it in the can for them. So when they're done, I can just pass that along. Say, okay, then we can just start moving along with the next project. So they're never sitting still. As far as myself, is I try to keep myself busy, and I just try to be consistent. So every day I'm trying to put in 2, maybe 3 hours every day of some type of comic book work, whether it be writing, editing, lettering, whatever it might be. But I'm always trying to do something so that everything's moving along. So then that way there's always something in the can ready to come out. You know, so I have this campaign currently running. When that campaign is done in 2 or 3 weeks, I'll have another campaign up, you know, once that's fulfilled, and then so on and so forth. And I'll just keep that rolling like that, you know, but the thing is consistently working, you know, don't ever just, you know, that day off, we're independent creators. There's no day off. There are no days off. And the thing is, you know, I look at it like this. This is, you know, I know Tom, this is your living. And for some people it's a living. For me, it is my hobby. It's a very expensive hobby. I try to do it to the highest level that I can do it. And because it's my hobby, I enjoy the hell out of it. So, I mean, for me, lettering, that's fun time, you know? So I could either be watching TV, right? Or I could be, you know, doing something creative, and I'd rather be doing something creative most of the time, you know? So I just try to like focus on just doing as much as I can with the small amount of time that I have every day. And then on the weekends, I try to double that time. So, but you got to have some fun sometimes. So you got to do other things, but you got to just, I think every day, just try to be consistent. Try to at least get an hour or 2 every day in it, and then just consistently go at it. Because you're going to notice in 1 month, you're not going to achieve a great deal, but in 1 year, you will. You'll surprise yourself what you'll be able to achieve in 1 year when you're consistent like that every day, you know? And I tell that to anyone, if you're a writer, especially if any type of writing, if you just say you commit yourself to 1 page a day, just writing 1 page a day, there's 356 days in a year. You're gonna end up with 365 pages or 356 pages, whatever it is, right? So you're gonna end up with a lot of pages at the end of the year. So that's the way I look at it. You know, if you're an artist, you commit to 1 page a week, you know, in 1 year you'll end up with 50 something pages, 52 pages, whatever it is. So on and so forth. And it's one of those things, consistency. You just have to be consistent with it. And that's the part where you have to be, you know, you have to relegate yourself to that regime. You have to keep going and keep focused on it, you know? So there you go. That's my answer for it.
Okay.
Jay?
So, yeah, after listening to everybody, I'm still fucking all over the place. And even though I was talking about trying to build a machine last year, right, and needed to focus on myself this year, I'm still fucking all over the place. Right, so I got 3 books in the can, 1 almost finished. So those are going to be my 4 books that are coming out. One of them being The Interceptor, which is now live. But I also have 2 design projects. Right, they would fit under the design category in Kickstarter. One of them is the hard enamel pin set that we have, which I almost dropped for the January Make 100 that Kickstarter was running. But it was going to take up lead up time that I was building for Shield of the Interceptor. The other project is something that I have been working on for years. And everybody, I think, knows that I've been working on it for years. And we were proclaiming that it is going to go live this year at New York Comic Con. And that is my action figure line, right? We are going to be doing 6-inch figures this year. I was telling everybody we were going to do them in March. We got our quotes. We got everything ready to go. And we've got a very huge fucking hurdle to overcome if we want to hit that number for at least the first figure, right? But then I'm still focusing on what I said earlier, myself, writing my content and becoming a better writer. Right, that is the important thing for me to do this year. But I have invested so much money over the last few years to get all of this other stuff done. Forget about doing a disservice to myself. It's an utter failure if I do not launch these projects and get my money back for the amount that we invested.
I have a revision to my buffering answer.
Okay, go
ahead.
Medication.
Medication.
How do you stay focused? Medication.
Medication.
There you go. You, say, you
They
get
make
medicated.
meds
There
for
you
that.
go.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, inebriation.
Just saying.
I got you. I'm with you on that one, kiddo. I'm with you on that one. You know, but yeah. Look, again, I said this earlier. We don't have the answers. We're still all trying to figure this out. I know I am myself. Right? I'm never going to knock anybody for what they are doing. As much as I was joking around when Mike was bringing it up, I am not stepping on anybody's heads. I'm not tearing down anybody's, buildings or bridges. We all here to support or at least share information with those out there who are trying to fight and establish themselves. And that's what this is all about, trying to figure shit out with hopefully some help from some of the other people that are going through it.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Now, Mr. Lanning, you're up, sir.
Okay, considering the fact that we're Jay's question took up so much time. So I just kind of hit back on you. I saw you on your show last night. I didn't get an invite. That kind of
Oh, you know what? See, Tuesday night, I'm going like, what kind of water bottle are you drinking, Mike? Holy shit.
It's a water bottle. What's the problem?
It's a water bottle.
Water bottles are like small. They're, the 0.5 liter. No, I'm sorry, it's a joke. But no, listen, Lanning, Tuesday night, baby. You want to rock and roll? You're down. Come through.
Mike,
all right, hit me up. But,
Mike, I would certainly suggest to you draw some pages. But go ahead, ask your question.
Okay, I did have a question written down, but I'm going to kind of shorten it on this grounds of thing. So, the idea of breaking into comics has been basically getting into the mainstream, or Marvel, DC, blah 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 blah. So my question is this: is the idea of breaking into comics antiquated?
Yes.
Nowadays.
Oh, sorry. Go through the list, brother.
So Jay says yes. Next.
So we don't have to worry about Jay anymore. Snoots, what's you're up?
Thank you. Really?
Yeah, you're up. You're first.
I mean, I'm new to this, so I would say no. I don't think it's antiquated because I'm fresh in the gate. And I don't think it's going anywhere.
Well, no, when we say let's explain. When we say breaking into comics, especially for us that have been in the business, is the idea that we become part of the big cog. We become the mainstream. We get to be.
You mean the big two or the big five or the top 10?
Right, yeah, pretty much.
So you talk about breaking into Marvel and DC. Basically, let's just break it down to that.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
That was
all right. Fair enough.
So is it antiquated to break into big comic? Is what you're asking?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, okay. Honestly, I think so. I talking with my friends and stuff. A lot of people are less and less inclined to buy. More consistently, people are like, yeah, I'll just watch whatever comes out, and even then, people are getting annoyed. People aren't liking the content that's coming out. So it's companies have their rise and falls, and sadly, I think it's on the decline. But indie comics are alive and thriving. I'm seeing independent comic books in stores casually, and that's bizarre to me. I never thought I would see that kind of shit. Like just ads I see for webtoons, I'm seeing those books in stores now, and the fact that I'm not seeing Marvel and DC, I'm seeing Lackadaisy got animated. Hotel Hell or something like, or not Hotel Hell. Has Been Hotel. Yeah. Got picked up by A24.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, and they're coming out in January. So independent projects in general, Lackadaisy's comic has been animated, but independent is getting its place in the world, and I think getting outside of the big machine is honestly helping comics. A lot of people will bring up the argument between American comics and Japanese comics, and I think a lot of people are seeing that as well, where it's not necessarily about what company you work for, it's whether or not you can actually make something and people want to see. So when it comes to manga is alive and strong, and just people with a good idea and has a strong team behind them. So when it comes to independent American comics, it's people who want to do something, whether you're a hobbyist or you're doing it otherwise. Like, if you have something people want to see, people will back it, people will buy it. Simple supply and demand. So people aren't buying from the big comic. People are buying independent. It's as simple as that.
All right. Cool. Carlos, are you there? I don't know.
I am. It's just
All right,
I'm.
So what are your thoughts?
You don't want to see me laying on my freaking back, so it's yeah. So interesting question for anybody. For me personally, of course, it's antiquated because it's not something that even when I first was reading comics, when I got back into it, it was the early 80s. And that even then, Marvel was in their like 25th year going into 25. And so I never really saw myself writing for Marvel or DC because I felt even then that most of the stories had already been told. 25 years in for Marvel, 40 years in at that time for DC. So even at that time, I never wrote scripts that were Marvel and DC characters. I was always writing and creating my own comic books with my own characters, many that still exist to this day, and come out. So for me, it's always been antiquated. Now, are there DC characters or Marvel characters that I would write if for some miracle chance I was in the position? Sure. But is it something that's like an overwhelming need to do? No, it's never been. I get that fire and that enjoyment out of creating my own shit and seeing that hit the page, man. Every time I get those things back from the printers and open that box and rip open that cellophane, and I'm like, fuck yeah, this is what it's all about. And it's not about the big two. And I once got into an argument with Jimmy Palmiotti and fuck, I forget this other guy, because they were talking about basically that should be everybody's their
Goal.
vision or their goal.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, if you want to, sure. If you know how to crack the code, if you do crack the code, then beautiful, good on you. That's for a lot of people, especially for artists. That's where because you want to sell, and if you have your byline that says Marvel and DC, that just makes it easier for you to go to a cons and draw your Spider-Mans and your Wolverines and sell them. Whereas, but it's not, again, it's just not something that, at least for me personally, I had any kind of real desire to do. And if I did, I would want to bring Jason, my buddy Jason Metcalf, with me. I don't even know if he would do it, but yeah, I would. If it presented itself, I'd think about it, but it's not something that drives me. So for me, yes, antiquated.
Gotcha. Tom, what are your thoughts?
Nonsense, antiquated, horse shit. Everyone on this panel, given the opportunity, would say yes to Marvel or DC if they were given the opportunity. Now, that does not mean that any of us, however, have to aim ourselves in that direction if we don't want to. Of course not. Certainly not. We all have the ability to create whatever we want, do whatever we want, et cetera, et cetera. But there is a lot of people, and here's the weird part. There's a lot of people that their thought process is, I want to work for Marvel or DC. Okay, great. What they don't understand is that I would say probably 90% of the people that end up working for Marvel or DC have done their own stuff because they've shown Marvel and DC that they can hit a deadline. They can produce a book. It's not that they did one issue. They've done a complete story, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Even if you tried to get into Image right now, it's not the days of old. It's still, you have to show that you've already done it before Image will even be like, yeah, come on in. We'll talk to you. So I don't think it's an antiquated idea at all. I think it's a perfectly fine goal. But I think the problem is that people don't understand the path to the goal. They think that it's drawing Batman every day and showing it to a Batman editor. And while there are always the exceptions to the rule, if you're good enough to just get in, you can get in. But most of the time, and particularly in the writing sense, for sure, it takes you going to a Batman editor and saying, hey, look, I've been doing comics for 15 years and I do this stuff and it would fit the Batman mythos and I draw dark, or I write dark things or whatever. And then maybe they are like, okay, let me see what you did. But I don't think the idea is remotely antiquated. It's the ideal to say, I worked on Spider-Man, if that's your guy. I worked on Wonder Woman, if that's the character you like, whatever it is. There's a legacy to that as well. Just like Carlos just said, it's more than just saying I did it, to get into a con. It's to say I did it. Like I reached what is essentially the pinnacle of the industry in most people's minds. And I don't have that goal necessarily. But I do understand, like Jimmy Palmiotti saying that should be a goal, because that goal is more than the goal. The goal is like, okay, I did Wonder Woman, but now I can translate that to, hey, I did Wonder Woman. Guess what, guys? Now I do Critter. If you liked me up here, you'll probably like me down here. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
You're using it as leverage, and that's understandable.
Yep.
If they offer anyone,
hold on, JJ, hold on. You said no.
And
I don't want to hear anymore. I don't want to hear your answer. I don't want to hear this.
You know what?
You answered the question. Nobody gives.
Let me say this for you. Come on.
Well, in his defense, Tom just called us horseshit. So I think Jay has the right to defend himself.
Hold on. I call him horse shit all the time.
See? That's why I don't like Todd Rose. A fucking bastard.
Not a bastard. My parents are married. But anyway.
Okay, that fucking bitch.
Not that either.
That fucking fat sucker.
Yeah.
Nope. You're projecting again.
I'm running out of time. I can't do
You're projecting again.
I can't do all.
Tom, did you have anything more to add to that?
No, I think we wrapped it up pretty good there. Yeah.
All right, cool. Mike, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I agree with Tom and with the main sentiment. I'm going to actually counter bullshit this. I have always had a drive to be a writer and to create. I've never once wanted DC or Marvel. It was I have been a fan, but I've always fantasized on creating my own thing and not actually working for, creating these other things that someone else did, because I feel like by the time I got into it, it was Indy Comics actually that got me into comics in the first place. I didn't get into Batman and whatnot until a little later. But I felt like those were such great stories that I loved as a kid that it was already done way better. And like, that was the definitive version of that character that I was like, I want to create my own thing. So I never really had that drive to be Marvel or DC. To answer the actual question, I don't think that it is antiquated to have that be your drive as a creator to get into one of the big ones or whatever. Because even if, like what Snoots was saying, even if people aren't liking what's being produced right now and they're driving more towards indie comics. That has happened in the past. It's happened in the 80s and in the 90s and whatnot, where there was this boom in indie comics, and it just brings in other comic lovers and whatnot, and younger generations of it. But the generations change, and there's an ebb and flow in these industries where they're going to start creating something that just meshes with the generation that's reading right now, and they're going to start to love that again. So they're not always going to hate Marvel and always going to hate DC. They're just going to hate when things just become formulaic and all about the cash grab and not about the actual good story. But that's not always going to be that way. So I don't think it's antiquated. However, I do believe that it's becoming increasingly unnecessary with how accessible it is to be able to create now. If you just put the work in, you can create things. And a lot of indie comics, their creators are creating things that are every bit as good, if not better, than what mainstream comics is coming out with. And if you can do that now and be your own boss, I feel like there's less and less of a reason to have it be that drive that you want to work for someone else and be a workhorse and get paid dog shit to create a mediocre product and wear yourself into the fucking ground. However, those things will change, and there will still be that person that needs the machine, that does need to be told and have this deadline, and does want to have that on the resume of like, I wrote this or I drew this. So it's not antiquated. It's just different things for different people. I feel like right now it's a lot more accessible to be your own boss and to do the indie, but that's still always going to be there. The mainstream's always going to be there. If it weren't for the fact that the mainstream exists, we wouldn't have indie comics anyway. Mm-hmm. So it's it's increasingly unnecessary, I think, just not antiquated.
I think that's a debatable topic.
What's that?
Because there was plenty of indie comics that has nothing to do with Marvel or DC.
No,
or anything like that.
What I'm saying with that is saying that it's indie comics. If the mainstream didn't exist, what are you independent from?
Well, you had underground comics or anything else like that, for that matter. But I understand what you're saying. But I think what's we're getting lost here is we're getting lost in the example and not understanding. When I say breaking into comics, you're not doing comics unless you've done Marvel, unless you've done DC, and unless you've done Image. That's that's what I'm saying is being antiquated. And that's what I'm saying. When we talk about breaking into comics,
so not having it be a drive, but more of a criteria.
Exactly. Like more of it, like you have not broken into comics until you've worked for Marvel, DC.
Yeah, that's a completely different discussion that we can now take another half an hour on, because yes, in that case, you're right.
Entirely different.
That's what we're going to do on Tuesday. Come on,
that's what I meant.
My show Tuesday. That's what we're going to talk about. We'll have fun doing that, because I want to throw a little twist on this, and Max, Snoops, you guys are a little bit more newer to all of this. But for those of us that are seasoned, if you were offered an assistant editor's job at one of the bigger companies, would you take it?
Well, it depends what it pays.
Are you asking currently right now?
No.
Or is that just what's going to be asked?
Because because assistant editor, who cares? You have to be able to put into a position to actually make a ripple. And I don't think an assistant editor would accomplish anything. Now, can you take the job and move up the ladder? Of course, but that's a lot of time taken away now from us making our own stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. But also the thing is this is, for you to be an assistant editor, whether it be in DC or Marvel, but let's say it's Marvel, because that's where we're at, where Jay and I are in New York City. That job does not pay very well, and you would not be able to live in this city on that pay.
You can't.
Yeah, you can't. This city is ridiculously expensive to live in. Mike, Snoots, you guys are in California. I know it's expensive to live out there as well. So I can only imagine.
Really $7 a gallon for gas in California?
In Southern California, yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So you
That's
guys know.
Like, as far as working for Marvel or anything, as an independent artist, I get paid more than what they're getting paid at Marvel right now, for a page rate. So it's like. Yeah, I don't think so. The only thing
Marvel doesn't pay shit right now because
the only difference is consistency. Like, being able to have that job lined up for whatever the case is. But heck, you do interiors. You might not even do a cover for that book, so you're not even getting paid for a cover on that. And usually, when I do a book, I have a cover and interiors also. So
One of the beauties of that whole comics killed me or whatever the fuck that thing was, that hashtag. With one of the beauties of that was all of these artists coming out, basically blurting out what they make at the big 2 and the big 5, and then going, holy shit, they're hardly paying anything. And that's because they can now dip into what we've been able to dip into, and that is the international market.
Well, it's also because comics aren't selling shit.
Oh yeah,
there's no advertising in comics anymore.
No.
I mean, it's a different world than it was even 10 years ago.
That's correct.
So did we choose the wrong path? Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun. No.
No. Because
No,
it's
we're on
better
the
to
right
make
path.
less and own what you make than to make less and give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I mean, like, should I have fucking opened up a pizzeria instead of putting all my fucking money into comics? That's what I mean.
Depends on how much you love. I mean,
you know what, dude? Okay, now we get into the fucking numbers of it all, right? With pizza, you're making 70 to 80% margin per slice. Not on a pie here in New York.
But you're not. But you're also one of 20 pizzerias in your city.
And you know what, bro? I'm telling you, they will all sell.
Yeah.
You can have a pizzeria on every corner and in the middle of the block, and they will all survive.
I have a counterpoint.
Go
for it. Steve.
JD, just fall back into porn, and you're good.
More porn, JD.
More porn. Yes.
You can always fall back into porn.
Or is that antiquated too?
No.
Porn
See,
is
that's the
never
thing.
antiquated.
Exactly.
Well, he doesn't have the body.
Yeah.
It's probably antiquated. Yeah.
That's like a renewable resource, isn't it?
Exactly. Listen,
Exactly.
you could watch porn from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. It doesn't matter. It's all the same shit. But you can watch from any of those periods. It's all the same thing.
I don't know. I beg to differ because Ron Jeremy had a great 70s. And then in the 80s,
it figures you would watch those.
That Howard Stern life, and now in the 2000s, it's the prison life. But he's had a rough arc.
Yeah.
Based off of her Facebook post, this is where I would wait for Nita to knock C right on out of there.
I'm waiting for the day.
Ding! The doctor is in. Ding! Get out of here.
I'm waiting for the day I see her arm reach behind C and you'll come back up the camera. I'm telling you, I'll pay for that fucking moment, bro.
I think it's more likely
I will
that it
super
would happen
chat
the other
the
way
shit out of
around.
this show.
Anyway, listen, we got way off base. C, do you want to answer your own question before we go?
Yeah, I do. I think.
Do you feel it's antiquated?
Being legitimized by breaking into comics has to be on that issue. Yeah, absolutely. And I think Snoots took my answer, because that's the thing is if you go to Barnes and Nobles now, what they have set up is they have Lore Olympus, which is webtoons and all this stuff. And that's the thing is my original question was this: how can we get people to realize that it's an antiquated idea? Because I see so many people trying to reach for that and not finding themselves a legitimate comic maker unless they get into Marvel, DC, and even ImageNet.
Well,
right?
It's worse than that. There are people that think you're not in comics if you're not in stores. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like that's wildly false.
Absolutely.
There are definitely people that are doing it profitably without being in any store anywhere at any time. And so there's no legitimacy just because you're in a store. If you're successful, you're making money, you're paying your bills, you're successful, you're legitimate at what you're doing.
Exactly.
But it's also what's the word I'm looking for? It's a subconscious thing, because before I got in through Exciting Comics into comic shops, it was really a battle to get into comic cons, because like Reed Pop, and so I got more rejections than I got acceptance.
Is it because you're trying for Artist Alley or you're trying for an exhibitor table?
For Artist Alley.
There you go.
Artist Alley is going to be vetted, especially at places like Reed Pop. They do that all the time.
Yeah.
But there's tons of small shows that you can just go get an Artist Alley table. Pay $100, $200, and just get it.
But as soon as I put in that and put the links in for previews, because that's what I started doing was for the applications. I started putting in a link for previews where my book, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, now I'm starting to get them to sit there and go, yeah, you're in. Yeah. And really the only difference is that now where it asks you for your kind of, instead of putting my website down, I just put that previews link down and say, this is what I got out there, and we're in comic shops. And that seems to have suddenly made the difference.
Sure.
So it is one of those things where it's subconscious, but they think more highly of you if you're in shops.
Mm-hmm. All right. Listen, that's great. Thank you, everybody. We've made it to the hour 2, so we're all done for the night. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Tom, before we go, please let everybody know where they can find you and your work, sir.
We pretty much live on Facebook. Everything kind of starts there and then filters out. Instagram, X, TikTok, all that stuff. Big Dog Inc. You can kind of just look for Big Dog Inc. wherever you do your social media, and you'll find us.
Cool. Mike?
Facebook. We're just on Facebook. War Dance Comics. I answer pretty much anything that gets sent, but a lot of people just message me directly. So, Mike Marshall, I have a little animated icon-y deal that Snoots drew. Yeah.
All right, cool. Snoots, where can they find you?
Well, we have War Dance on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Technically, we mainly do Facebook, as Mike said. You can find me personally, Snoots. I am VonSnips, it's VonSnips at main social medias. You can reach me on Facebook predominantly as well.
Nice.
All right, cool. Carlos?
You can find me on there's www.championcomicsgroup.com or Facebook.com/Champion Comics Group. Instagram is Champion Comics Group, and then the Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, that's Cardos F. Raphael.
Nice. Michael? Or C. Michael, excuse me.
As always, you check it out at lanningart.com. That's LANNING art.com. The kamikaze side. Yeah, it's coming back. We'll start back next week.
Nice.
So.
Nice. Mr. Rosario, where can they find you in your work?
Comics.com, baby. All my social media links are on the website. My website, right?
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
See, it all comes back to porn. Come on.
But
spreading his butt
for the next 27 days, Unstoppable Comics, Shield of the Interceptor will be on Kickstarter. Come check us out there, please.
Fair enough. So you can find me here most Sundays at 7:30 p.m. with these fine gentlemen and great creators.
Yeah.
And also theoswaldchronicles.com, talltalesonline.com, Twitter, Facebook, all those different places under JD Calderon. And don't forget, currently on Kickstarter, the Oswald Chronicles. Go check it out. And don't forget, everybody, all of these creators are fantastic. All of their links are in the show notes. So if you want to buy their books, please buy their books. Support independent comic books. They deserve your help. They deserve your support. And even more importantly, read the books because they're awesome books. So thank you so much. Right? And just remember, buy more books, especially ours. Thank you and have a good night.
That's it. Tuesday.